Well, it gives me great pleasure now to bring on board Bhavish Aggarwal, founder and CEO of Ola Electric, to talk about what's happening in the entire EV scooter space, the growth trajectory for Ola Electric, what is keeping him busy these days, and what his understanding of the entire startup ecosystem is, given that we've seen peaks and troughs and twists and turns in last couple of years. Bhavish, it's your first time, at least I'm interacting with you on this forum. So a very warm welcome and so nice to connect with you.
Nikunj, thank you for having me. First time on your show. I'm very excited to speak with you. And like you said in your introduction, a lot is happening. So this is the EV moment of India.
So let's understand what is that lot which is happening for good and what is that lot where things are changing for worse.
We're all moving forward, Nikunj. So let me set a bit of an overall context. If you look at how we set up and why we set up Ola Electric, right? One of our generation's biggest challenges is going to be solving climate change and building a sustainable future for the whole world, not just for India. And now this focus around the world started in the West maybe a decade or two ago. But India is absolutely central to the world's movement towards a sustainable future because India is 20% of the world. And unless we become a sustainable energy economy and unless we become all electric vehicles, the world will not achieve its goals of net neutrality and zero carbon and all of that. So, but for India to become electric, we need to build a different product paradigm, a different technology paradigm. And that's our focus at Ola Electric, building those kind of products which Indian consumers love and buy, and building technologies which enable those products. So that's what we've been focused on. As you know, we announced a whole range of products. 2 years ago, we launched our first product, the S1 Pro, which has had tremendous success in the market. Just in 2 years, we've gotten to 40% plus market share in the EV two-wheeler segment. We announced what we call the whole S1 lineup across all price points in scooters. So now we believe that there is no more excuse in scooters for any customer to buy ICE. It is time for ending ICE age in the scooter segment.
So what do you have to say to Rajiv Bajaj's definition of oats? That we eat oats for breakfast. How would you react to that? Actually, I haven't heard you react to that at all.
हाँ नहीं देखो दलिया तो हम भी खाते हैं हाँ वो लोग ओट खा लेंगे हम दलिया खाते हैं एंड उनको दलिया खाना है तो आ जाए मेरे साथ दलिया खाएंगे साथ में
चलिए as media you know हमको oats और दलिया दोनों मिलेंगे so we both are very happy. But Bhavish, the entire EV scooter space or the two-wheeler space was off to a great start. It was neat of the hour. It was also a unique appeal which in a sense the millennium was getting, and especially the eco-friendly millennial. But now given that there is a bit of a reversal in terms of the duty advantage, especially because of flames, what is happening to the affordability and this entire price-sensitive market like India, where, you know, this entire environment appeal is great, but ultimately it comes down to Sasta Sundar Tikau.
Yeah. See, Nikunj, I think that's very important. India is a market where price is very important, and not just low price, but great value for price, right? And that's where our focus on yesterday's announcement was. If you see, we started with a premium scooter product, which is the S1 Pro. We announced a whole range of products at different price points, starting from 80,000 rupees going up to 1.5 lakh rupees. So now we have a portfolio starting from absolutely at the entry level of scooters, equivalent to the ICE price point, and going up to 1.5 lakh rupees, which is our premium product, which is frankly the best scooter money can buy. And we believe with this kind of a pricing, consumers will find EVs fundamentally better than ICE vehicles, because not just is the upfront price now equal to ICE for our EVs, but also using an EV is so much more cheaper than using petrol vehicles or ICE vehicles, because petrol rates only go in one direction, whereas electricity is much more accessible and cheap, and the EV vehicles are much more efficient. So the running cost of an EV vehicle is roughly 1/10 or lower than a petrol vehicle. And now if you buy an Ola EV, every month you save 2,500-3,000 rupees. So in a year you save about 30,000 rupees. So it's, buying an Ola EV or buying frankly any EV, not that there are many at this price point, but buying an Ola EV actually allows you to do better for the planet, but most importantly, do better for yourselves and for your wallet. And I believe, Nikunj, to your earlier point on legacy players, right? Now, they might comment on the sidelines that EVs are not the future or that EVs are not price competitive. Yesterday, we have changed that. And now actually the gauntlet has been thrown to them to react and to bring exciting EV products, competitive EV products to the market and compete. Because it is quite clear that ICE is over in scooters. And what we also did in Nikunj is we showed our scooter portfolio, but we also painted a vision and a roadmap for our motorcycle segment. So we are actually moving the game from scooters into motorcycles for the next couple of years.
You prompted me to go to the entire bike and the four-wheeler segment, but before I do that, I would just like to bring a point out for our viewers here that while the legacy players may talk about that ICE engines in India are here to stay, if I look at the comments and the announcements which have come, let's say from Honda, Royal Enfield, TVS, Hero, everybody who's in the legacy manufacturing space has already announced an entry into EV space. So that just tells you the importance of ICE versus EV and the future even legacy players are betting on. Now, Bhavish, that is an endorsement of what you just said. The future is EV, it is not ICE. But when legacy players are moving into the EV space, how will this change the competitive landscape for you?
The EV game, Nikunj, is not about assembling mechanical devices and working with suppliers who do all the work. This is a different paradigm, and EV is a disruption for the traditional automotive industry. It is not an incremental change, and that's why world over you've seen traditional OEMs not having as much success as new high quality technology focused companies. They were startups earlier and they've scaled up. So EVs are fundamentally technology changes on two new technology paradigms, which traditional OEMs have no clue of. Software and electronics is one paradigm, and second is energy systems, which includes motors, batteries, cells, and these are technologies which didn't exist in the mechanical ICE era. And mechanical ICE era was about making chassis, making frames, etc., which is they're required even today. And we engage with the ecosystem, supplier ecosystem, to build those things. But unless you have strong capability and competency in these new technologies, your EVs won't be competitive in terms of proposition to the customer, price to the customer, and your margin. You might launch a few EVs here and there. You might make a little bit of noise about saying hum bhi EV layenge, but unless you have this capability in-house, and these are technologies that you can't even buy from suppliers today at the right competitive price point and features. And we, over the last 3 years, Nikunj, have built very strong capabilities in these core differentiated technologies. We have thousands of engineers working in-house, working on these. And that's why, if you've seen our journey, last 1.5 years, we've been able to bring 5 products in scooters now. At different price points, we've been able to lower the price point despite the FAME subsidy reducing, whereas everybody else has had to increase prices. So we are actually moving the industry in the opposite direction. Everybody else is moving in the other direction. So for my feeling personally is more people need to have credible plays in the EV industry so that we increase EV penetration and truly remove ICE completely faster. But I feel they will need to up their game in terms of technology to get there.
You mentioned something very important, and this is a delight for consumers, which is that directionally you managed to bring the prices down. Do you think, given that the entire two-wheeler EV is still dependent on that important battery storage and battery storage rates will come down, the natural direction for EVs in India is actually south and north-north?
Absolutely. And if you look at India's, even before India, the biggest cost component in EVs is the cell. And the cell today is all imported from different parts of the world. We buy from Korea. And cell is almost 1/3 of the cost of the EV. In some cases, 40% also is the cell. Now, we took a lead 2.5 years ago to start making lithium-ion technology and cells and manufacturing them here in India. And we are the most advanced company in India to be building lithium-ion technology. We are also in the process of setting up our own Gigafactory. Phase 1 is going to be 5 gigawatt hours. It's India's first and largest Gigafactory. At full scale, the Gigafactory will be 100 gigawatt hour in one single location, one of the world's largest Gigafactories. And by early next year, we will actually make the Gigafactory operational, and we will start consuming our own Indian manufactured cells. And that's going to be a very important initiative to reduce cost further, but not just cost. Make sure we are self-reliant on our energy requirements. Because if you see the paradigm on energy is moving from petroleum and mining and refining into material sciences and technology. So we in India need to build our own strength and capability and technology to build into this future paradigm on energy storage.
If I take the clock back and just map your brilliant journey from Ola Mobility to Ola Electric, from EV to the vision which you've shared in terms of getting the first electric bike, there are plans that you eventually would move into four-wheeler. You've just shared with us that you're setting up your own battery manufacturing unit and facility. Is Bhavish Aggarwal running too fast? Is he running before he can learn how to walk? That's a concern which everybody is raising.
Nikunj, we are the leaders, and I would say others have to learn how to walk. I'm already running, and but on a serious note, the opportunity for us is so large. This is India's moment in a macro sense. This is absolutely India's moment, and I think our Prime Minister reiterated that yesterday from the Red Fort about us needing to dream for the next few centuries, and it is my generation's destiny to build that. And we have to absolutely, we have to build world-class products, best technology in the world, and we have to do it quickly because this window of opportunity doesn't last for a lifetime. We have a window of opportunity and we have to make the most of it. And while we make the most of it, we have to build world-class technology and world-class products while doing that. And that's what we are focused on. We will and always endeavor to build the best-in-class products. And today we have the best-in-class products, best-in-class technology. And that's why we are number one in the market. But we also have to keep doing more and more because the world is also not sitting stationary. Our competitors are not sitting stationary. Other countries are not sitting stationary. So other ecosystems are also innovating. So we have to always keep pushing the envelope.
When will Ola Electric be a billion-dollar company? Will it be a billion-dollar company before this year ends?
Which one?
Ola Electric. When will this company be a billion-dollar company?
Well, if you think of market cap, we crossed $1 billion 5 years ago. So Ola Electric is much further ahead in terms of its valuation, and in terms of revenue, we are already on a run rate basis, fairly good. You can see that from our sales. I can't give you the exact revenue number given that we are a private company, but we are really seeing very aggressive ramp up in our volumes, in our revenue. We have expanded our factory to 1 million units a year, and now we are in the process of expanding it to 2 million units a year by early next year.
The general view with every PE investor is that these are hard times. The funding winter has started, and companies, they now need to increase productivity and conserve cash. Are you also feeling the heat?
See, we've always been very focused on building sustainable business models. Our Ola Mobility business, the ride-sharing business, runs very profitably. Ola Electric, we are only 1.5 years old in terms of selling products. So we are very, very young as a company, but we're already very advanced in terms of where our bottom line and profitability is. Again, I can't share with you specific numbers, but whenever we put our numbers out in the public domain, soon enough, you will be able to see how well our bottom line has evolved over the last few years. And we will absolutely be we will be one of the fastest companies in EVs to make a profit worldwide as and when that happens.
In general, the view which is centered around the entire EV space is that the rate of disruption is something which is going to be unfathomable. Now, you are a disruptor and you are disrupting the legacy players. But how will you create a moat around your business so that you don't get disrupted?
That's a great point, Nikunj. Today's era is an era of technology and also of not just technology, but accelerating technology change and also converging of different types of technologies to deliver great experiences and new product for consumers. And we will always remain in the lead as long as we remain the best in class in technology and innovation and building what the consumer wants. And no company, not even us, is entitled to be in the consumer's hearts forever, right? We have to keep innovating and keep doing right by the customer and keep leading the technology charge. And those are the two things which we will always keep doing. And as long as we are honest to that, we will be in the hearts and minds of the consumers.
So if I have to, let's say, divide the future timeline into two parts, next 1 to 3 years and 3 years beyond, What would be the strategy for Ola Electric for next 1 to 3 years? Will it be market share gain? Will it be new product launches? And beyond 3 years, what will be your focus?
For the next 3 years, Nikunj, we are very focused on doubling down on our existing products, which we have a very large scooter lineup now, 5 products across the scooter price points. We are very focused on making sure every Indian has access to these products, as well as we will take the scooter lineup into a few international markets. And then beyond that, beyond scooters, still within the 3 years, we are very focused on bringing world-class motorbikes, electric motorbikes into the market. Globally, people have felt that motorbikes might not get electrified for whatever reason. Some people feel that it is harder to electrify. You need more range. You need more technology. But you have scooters which have been electrified at one end. You have cars which have been electrified at the other end. There's no technology reason why motorcycles in the middle will not get electrified. And we are absolutely determined to build a global narrative and a global paradigm, first in the world kind of products on motorbikes, build in India for the whole world, and create best technology in motorbikes for the world. So that's the next move from us. You will see us bring our motorbikes into market next year. And then what we've launched yesterday are our set of premium motorbikes. Then we also are working on a lot of motorbikes across other price points, which we'll bring over the next 2-3 years. This is our focus over the next few years, where we scale up our scooter business and we build new products into motorbikes. Beyond that, there are a lot of exciting things happening within Ola also in other form factors. We are working on cars. We've been very public about that. And the beauty of automotive is that with electrification, form factors themselves are changing. You can have drones, you can have urban mobility vehicles, which are neither a scooter nor a bike nor a car, but other form factors. Because form factors never remain constant. With new technologies, form factors also change. So we are working on some very exciting products, which I can't talk about today, which will be completely distinctive form factors and categories which don't even exist, as well as our car portfolio will also start coming in.
When consumer tech and fintech companies like Paytm, Zomato, when they went public, their offer document mentioned the following, that we don't know when we will make profit. And markets forced them to change their strategy. The path through profitability was defined. Soon some of the startup companies realized that, look, the games of a private market and auction market are different. That is something which is a hard test and a lot of realization. What do you have to say out to that?
I can't comment on others. My personal way of running business is that we always focus on building a very strong, sustainable business model. And in Ola Electric also, you will see how strong our business model is. And if I take 2 minutes for your viewers to articulate it, we break up our business model into 3 sections. There is the front end, which is the sales, service, charging, etc. There is the middle, which is the product development and technology. And there's the back end, which is manufacturing and supply chain. Now, across all, we have a very fresh perspective on the business model. And that allows us to build a very different business model, but yet very profitable and sustainable business model. In the front end, we don't have the traditional dealerships. We do a direct-to-customer omni-channel approach. And we don't do any traditional advertising either. We do much lesser amount of advertising. We do a lot more of new age marketing, which is very, very low cost. So our front end is much more efficient in terms of profitability and the capital required than a traditional model where you have to give commissions and you spend on advertising as a percentage of revenue. Our middle, which is technology and product, we do a lot of our technology and product development in-house. Even though some supplier might assemble our products, for example, our electronics are assembled by Foxconn and others, but we engineer and design it all ourselves. That also gives us a lot of control of product features, control of extra margins that we would have otherwise paid to some suppliers who would engineer this. And we bring new products to market faster. At the back end, we have designed our back end at scale from day one. The manufacturing unit is designed for 10 million units a year scale. Our supply chain, especially for new components like motors, battery packs, and the child part supply chains of those things are all new supply chains where actually we are the majority consumer. So all of those are also designed at scale, which further bring cost advantages to us. And now as we are increasing products on top of this pipe of front end and back end, we are able to optimize our costs and the P&L even more. So as a result, we actually have a very healthy business model. When we come to market, I'm very confident that market would really like our business model and how it has already played out for us.
You've explained our business model quite, deeply, but there is one part where I would say, think again, that why you are not advising on traditional platforms. So maybe that's a hint from my side, but I'll move on into a different topic. So can I safely assume that Ola Electric will only go public when you are ready to report profits, not before that?
So Nikunj, I will not comment on that specifically, but like I said, whenever we decide to go to public markets, and like I said, our business model has evolved very well, faster than I expected. So logically, we will also come to market sooner than we had originally thought. We will have a very good set of financial numbers also to show the market.
But your plans to move into EV bike and four-wheeler, that is independent of you going public or not?
So our focus on other product categories like bikes and cars is a roadmap for us. It doesn't have any implication on when and how we choose to go public. We are building on this roadmap, and it's a sequential roadmap. We started with scooters, now we're moving on to bikes, and we will also do other form factors in due course. And we also do capital allocation accordingly. As and when we see product categories mature, we move our capital investments into other categories.
Bhavish Aggarwal has become a role model to entrepreneurs, role model to a lot of young entrepreneurs who are thinking and who are dreaming big. I want to understand that who is your role model?
Nikunj, I look up to many people, and I have, even though I come from a Bania community, I'm an Aggarwal. My parents are doctors, and my grandfather was also in service. He was a government engineer. But I look up to primarily Indian role models. Somebody like a Dhirubhai Ambani, how he set up Reliance, and then somebody like a Mukesh Ambani, and how he has scaled up Reliance into this huge multifaceted organization. And people like Ratan Tata, people like the Infosys group, Nandan, and others. I think there are so many role models here in India, in addition to global role models like Steve Jobs or even Elon Musk himself. There's a whole set of people to get inspired by, but more importantly, here in India, who have created value for society here in India.
In the movie Wall Street, Bhavish, Gordon Gekko said that every man is chasing a number. What is the number for Bhavish Aggarwal?
I personally don't believe in Gordon Gekko's motto of greed is good. I feel I'm presuming he's the one who said that line, greed is good. I personally believe that capitalism is about, in the end, doing societal good and doing it with a focus on profitability. It's a good measure. It's a great measure for what value you're adding in society. And in the end, businesses have to be part of the national narrative and the societal narrative and societal needs. And that's how I believe Ola is set up, where we build into our country's future and be part of building technology-led businesses for the future.
If there is a billboard on which you have to put one motto which you can read again and again, and that motto, that mantra inspires you, what would be that mantra or motto on that big billboard?
I don't know whether I've come down to a motto yet, but I really believe the young generation has such a beautiful future ahead in India, and we can create the future for the whole world. And I think that's the energy which will power our generation ahead to create for the future.
You've made a lot of extraordinary things look easy. You've made a lot of impossible look, very commendable. You've made an unknown brand to an unforgettable brand. But when you started, you were young, and you are still young. How did your journey start? I remember reading inspiration stories of J.K. Rowling that her first novel was rejected 13 times before she became what she is. What was like when you initially started and when you took your baby steps?
I started back in 2010. So, 2008, I finished with my bachelor's in computer science from IIT Bombay. And I worked for 2 years in Microsoft Research here in Bangalore. And I had a really good time building new products and technologies. And then 2010, I decided I want to try my own thing. I was 24 years old back then. I moved back to Bombay and I set up Ola we at that time the startup ecosystem was very nascent. It was the investor ecosystem was very nascent, and I come from a middle class family. It was not, I didn't want to ask my parents for too much for any money, so I pretty much started with whatever little savings I had. And then back then I remember almost maybe 50 investors would have rejected me at the angel stage itself, saying, what is a 24-year-old trying to do to start a taxi company? And those are the times when there was companies like Meru, etc. around. And we've come a long way since then. The ecosystem has evolved. We've been able to have the persistence to be at it for 13 years now, and I still feel we're just getting started. The next 2 decades is one of India to build for itself and for the world, and I can't be more excited about the future.
Well, really appreciate your time, and it was an indeed exciting interview. Learned a lot, and I look forward to have much more of you going forward on ET Now. Thank you for finding time, and thank you for joining us on the channel.
Thank you for having me, Nikunj. Wonderful interaction, and look forward to doing more of these.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.